What's up, y'all? Steven here, aka Bike Bonk Biff. We've got the latest race done this morning. It was Makuri May Stage 2. A doozy. If you watched my kind of preparation guide for this series, this was what I pegged to be the most exciting stage, and I felt like I kind of lived up to it today. And I was a little extra motivated because we hit 100 subscribers this morning as well, so thank you all. Let's tune into the race. Course is pretty interesting with some opportunities to attack early on, but really it's about these two punchy climbs which lead us to a total of 15.3 miles and roughly 650 feet of climbing. And before we get too much into the race, I want to give a special thank you to all of you. We just hit 100 subscribers today. I appreciate it more than anything, and I can't wait to keep building on what we have here. Now things started off really easy. We didn't see our first attack until right after the sprint. You can see things start to get a little thinned out, but realistically, we're only about a mile into the race. Everybody's legs were really fresh, so we all circled up really quickly. From there, the next kind of dicey portion of the race is the arcade. You can see we actually dropped 2 people. To prevent yourself from being dropped in the arcade, I like to give punchy efforts in each one of these corners and make sure that you stick with the person in front of you. The group did end up slowing down as we approached the tunnel, not to take away from the really hard effort that Carne put in. You can see right here they're about 5 seconds behind. They're putting in over 6 watts a kilogram and they get back on with the rest of the group, and it was just in time because as we push through this tunnel, there's a nice relaxing portion on this downhill to rest. This downhill will kind of transition us into the island portion of this course. That's ultimately where your first test is going to be. And this test is the Festival Harbor Climb. Essentially, it's the opposite of stage 1. So you're going up the steeper side. It's about 1.24 miles, average gradient of 2.6%, maxes out at 5.4, and it's around 174 feet of climbing. So about a 5-minute effort. It's pretty steep at the beginning part, so you want to make sure that you're using that momentum from the draft to be able to carry you up, to make your life a little bit easier. That's exactly what I did here. And then once you finally get to these steeper portions, you have the legs to continue to push on. Looking at the rider list along the right hand side, you can see that we actually do manage a few gaps. If the climb was a little bit longer, I think we would have pushed those gaps even further, but like I said, when you get to the top here, things flatten out. That draft picks up. The one rider is about 6-8 seconds behind with T and Barnum. You know, it's going to be difficult for them to get back on, but when all said and done, we've got roughly 8 riders in this pack, and as we get over this peak here, the draft will carry us all together. I still have my anvil. There's a little downhill here, so I decided to use it. It actually works out perfectly, even though there's only a 2% grade decrease. It pushes me right to the front, gives me time to rest, and I hope for a feather. Doesn't work out, I get another anvil, but the segment was great. I had my second best effort ever. We averaged 331 watts. Things are certainly strung out. We get an attack going into the climb. I use a snowball to draft up onto the tarmac, and as we get over to the top, it switches to gravel again. This means that if there's any gaps, everything will kind of be stretched out because draft is reduced on the gravel. I choose not to follow this attack because we are making our way to the final portion of the race, and that is the Pain Cavern climb. The lead rider has about 9 seconds of us for this 1.3 mile climb. It's draftable, only 217 feet of climbing total, but it's kind of tricky. At this point, your legs are really tired, and so any sort of exhaustion really begins to creep up on you. I decided to stand essentially the whole time that we're on this climb because we need to keep up a really high power. The guy in front, same thing. The problem is we're not gaining on T, aka Tabby Cat, at all. They're maintaining an 8-9 second lead on all of us, and we're no spring chickens. We're honestly pushing really hard. You can see my power profile. It's really consistent in the red, always above 3.5, 3.8 watts a kilogram at the lowest. So I'm a little disappointed that we're not making up ground. My heart rate's creeping up there. We're almost up to 190 BPM. It's a real dig. This gives us a select group of about 5 riders, and hopefully we can work together to reach Tabby Cat. Unfortunately, as we reach these flats, we're dropping our powers down a little bit, kicks up, but Tabby Cat's holding above 4 watts a kilogram, and I can tell we are all gassed and almost to the sprint. Really happy with this effort. Personal best, ultimately averaging 322 watts on what was over a 4-minute effort. Now to the sprint. And that sprint is going to be especially difficult because my heart rate is still above 187. This is it. I think I got 4th. Cursed. Yeah, that was honestly a brutal finish. I wish that my legs were a little bit better, but gave a really good effort in the pain cavern, and I'm happy with where we finished. Top 5 would have been nice to hit the podium considering all those 4th place finishes, but in all reality, we've been in A category for maybe a month now, like not that long, and the fact that we're consistently getting top 5 is really nice to see. The 20-minute power is slowly keeping up, and let's hope that's a nice trend that continues. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to see the whole race, make sure you go to the description. I'll have it show on screen. It's nice bantering the entire time. I give some kind of tips as I ride through of what I see. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.